Look, be honest, do you gamble? Cause I don't gamble, and if it ain't me, then statistically it's you. If it's not you or me, then it's gotta be some other two. Gambling is now an activity that 49% of Americans partake in, which is basically half the population. What's even crazier is that the majority of that statistic is made up of millennials and Gen Z, with 2 out of 3 millennials or 2 out of 3 Gen Zers being gamblers. Like, I know we complain a lot about being broke, and this economy does indeed suck. I got plenty of videos talking about that, but I ain't gonna lie. Some of these people might be doing it to themselves. Oh, but Bladed, it's not gambling, it's betting. They're totally different things. Look, that defense is the same energy as people who say, it's not a pyramid scheme, it's a multi-level marketing scheme. Or, I'm not showering, I'm just applying water and soap to my body. Whether you call it pissing or peeing, it's both the same thing. People who bet thousands on Kalshi are as much of gambling degenerates as any traditional gambler is.
They're trading assets. It's investing, really. Definitely not gambling.
How much money do you think you've lost gambling?
That's a hard topic because
8 figures or 9 figures?
the loss is over 100 million. But that
Not too long ago, it was a lot easier to spot someone who's a gambling degenerate because they usually had to fly to Vegas every week or visit some rundown casino, or even worse, some cracked out back room in a gas station that had a couple of slots. Nowadays though, it's impossible not to be inundated with tons of gambling media, and there absolutely are a lot of people you know close to you who are absolute gambling degens. Like, for example, not even the weebs could escape it. Like, before any of them want to laugh at sports normies for betting, I already know that a lot of those weebs were swiping multiple hundreds of dollars to grow parasocial attachments to their gacha waifus. Meanwhile, the rest of gaming culture is still fighting for our lives to stop AAA developers from marking up games to $100, yet these gacha degenerates will swipe away a fat hundo just for the chance at getting an anime baddie. Not even a guaranteed, bro, a chance, a minuscule chance, by the way. This is how cooked we are as a society, where we've become so desensitized to anything that has incorporated gambling in it that some people are perfectly okay with dropping $100 without a second question just to still only get the possibility of getting something back from it. Like, sure, I'm about to spend the rest of this video laughing at sports bettors and other Kalshi degens, but on the tier list of gambling addicts, I still think gacha players are definitely amongst the worst, since at least sports bettors have a chance to make money back, right? No one is buying any used Genshin account for anywhere near the amount of money that was sunken into it, because without power creep works, it means these waifus get outdated within like weeks to months. They don't have any longevity, there's no investment, there's no return. This is somehow the most net negative gambling structure known to man that weebs have somehow trapped themselves in. Crazy gacha crash out aside, let's talk about the gambling epidemic that is a lot more prevalent, which is obviously with sports, or obviously card games, and even horse betting. And truth be told, even if you don't know how to play blackjack or poker, it doesn't even have to be traditional gambling games. You could literally bet on anything, legit anything nowadays. We live in the era where you can bet on anything thanks to the internet, and I don't know why I said thanks to, it's more of an unfortunate tragedy, because if someone wanted to, they could make a Kalshi about whether I'll make another car video or if I'm gonna keep posting these situational slop fests. Except please don't bet on that, since the answer is probably super obvious. I'm tired of releasing another car video that's just gonna bomb, get cloned by 10 automotive AI slop channels, all while I barely get views from mine because car culture is dead. So obviously I'm gonna continue that slop grind. Shout out to all my non-car viewers who watch these videos, so please like and subscribe for more situation slop. Anyways, if you don't know what Kalshi or Polymarket are, it's probably for the better, and you should probably keep it that way, but for the sake of this video, I will explain to you what they do. They're betting apps that allow people to bet on various things like sports, politics, or even completely mundane and random things like whether or not a celebrity shows up to an event.
The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion.
The CEO himself even dreams of a world where people will literally bet and monetize everything. You can't just enjoy things in life for the way they are, you know, living in the moment, that's cringe. You can bet on multiple things in a row that surround a single event. Like, gone are the simple days of a coin flip where it's just a somewhat even 50-50. You would think with half the people in the United States betting now, that maybe they would at least still be doing gambling that has like half odds, right? Because statistically that makes sense. Well, if half the people are taking part of it, maybe I'm just on my crack pipe here, but like,
They want you to believe that you can make money on these investments, never mind the fact that 70% of people lose money and most of the profit is taken in by an insanely small number of traders, 0.04%.
bro, these people would be better off just buying a lottery ticket at that point if they want that low of odds of winning, because I always thought gambling at least had like some likelihood of winning. And this, I'm gonna throw the Gacha nerds under the bus again just because I can, because I still don't know how they're okay with playing games that have like 0.6 or 1.6, meaning that like getting the thing that they're seeing that they're like pulling for and spending hundreds for is literally less than 1%, and that's crazy to me. Like, if you know Gacha is a degenerate activity but enjoy it anyway, or better yet, if you're just playing it for free, because remember, you can play these games for free and still enjoy it, and if you're patient, you could even still get these characters for free if you plan it out. It's fine, alright? It's fine to play these games. I'm not your mom. I can't shame you. I can't stop you, alright? However, I actually see this cope on Twitter way more than I should, which is when they call us brokies for not being able to afford to play gachas. Meanwhile, they're pushing 40, living with their mom, don't have a car, still has no job, and if you've watched my brokey epidemic video, then you already know it's always the brokest of the broke who call others brokies. Check out that video if you haven't already, after this one, of course. Like, there are so many other games, by the way, that you can buy and enjoy for like $475 instead of just a chance at a single character in a gacha game. My problem isn't spending $500 on video games, especially if you're spending it on several banger titles that you know you're going to enjoy for a long time, instead of dropping it on one character who gets outdated in a few weeks. To me, it's about like the value of the money spent that bugs me, not so much the way it's spent. And that's, like I said, just that poor decision making is usually made by people who are actually broke. Yet people are out here just dumping cash on things with less than a 1% chance in all aspects of gambling. And at least with people who play the lottery, they're not just going through several bands each time they play. It's just a few dollars here and there, not hundreds to thousands. And more importantly, they still have to be over 18, just like with traditional casinos. That way, before they can ruin their life with gambling the normal way, they at least have to have their brains somewhat developed. But these apps, meanwhile, because of that gray zone, can get people hooked young. And if they get people young, chances are they get them for life.
A study from Common Sense Media finds 36% of boys 11 to 17 report gambling in the past year.
As I mentioned at the start, Gen Z and Millennials are far more likely to participate in betting or gambling than most other generations, and I absolutely think social media played into this. Call it what you will, but event-based future contracts or these prediction markets, it's still gambling. It's just been rebranded gambling, and this rebrand seems to have worked, since because they exist in this like gray area and also this new internet era where a lot of these applications and websites aren't as easy to regulate as like a physical casino or a lottery ticket distributor, they can get away with selling things to kids even, or having their services be usable by teenagers. Like some states like Nevada, New Jersey, and Maryland are trying to contest Kalshi's operations, and Massachusetts actually court-ordered a 30-day compliance period throughout this month of February. But let's be real, a lot of bettors can probably get around that with a VPN of some kind, because like I said, the government moves way too slowly. They don't even know. Most of those people don't even know what a VPN is probably still. Now, regarding these online gambling sites and apps, the way they advertise to children is a huge gray area, and it genuinely needs to be regulated. Like, the most common method they use is this rage bait method that often involves them giving millions to influencers or celebrities. Look, I'll explain. So if you've ever seen those ads about online games or really crappy gaming apps where it's like a person who's playing so obnoxiously bad that you look at their gameplay and you go, I'm gonna download the app because I can do better than this clown. I can do better than that. And boom, you accidentally got tricked into actually getting the product. And it turns out this is not just a crappy mobile game strategy that are trying to rage bait people into buying their garbage. It's also a strategy that's used by gambling websites and a lot of these other betting apps when they realize they can do these similar style of ads. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of these betting apps will purposely pay influencers, sometimes even millions, to poorly place bets against super obvious outcomes. That way the viewers watching will be like, dude, I'm not that dumb. Oh my God, I'm gonna download this app. I'm gonna show this streamer how it's really done. He's such a clown. I can't believe he's betting on the thing that's so obviously going to lose. Like, come on, the outcome is so obvious. I'm gonna bet for the winner, and boom, the streamer does indeed lose a lot of money, and the viewers, meanwhile, get their first win, because once these companies get the viewers' foot in the door, they've got them hooked. I almost hate how ingenious it is, but these ads are designed to create spectacle and to purposely attract younger viewers and their inner competitive nature and purposely rage bait them. But CoffeeZilla has a whole video going over a lot of the shadier stuff these websites do, and I'm just gonna link his video in the description and move on. Now, another annoying way they advertise to people and also rage bait people, and you're probably gonna see it in the comments below, is with comment bots that spam the annoying cope. Well, these people just hate gambling because they're scared to lose 7 grand. But that's such chump change. You're a winner, because people who aren't scared to gamble, they're obviously millionaires. Now, download this app today. When they say like you're scared to gamble, you're scared to just throw a few thousand, that's just chump change. It's almost like pressing buttons and pushing on people's ego, like, yeah, only losers try out gambling for a few dollars at a time. If you start it, go big. Because like, believe it or not, I don't think you're a despicable human being if you've like downloaded one of these apps. And I'm sure there's some of you watching this like, hey Bladed, I'm a high schooler, I'm a college student, I've used Kalshi a few times and I put like a few bucks in. You're not a gambling addict, bro. This video is not about you. You're okay, all right? You're good, all right? But regarding the people who have terminal gambling brain, they react to this stuff going like, oh, but if I have millions, I'm not gonna be a wussy. I'm not gonna be scared to throw around some big old money back into gambling. I'm not playing with chump change. If I had millions from gambling, or if I had millions in general, I would just keep putting more millions into gambling and make even more profit, because that's totally how it works, right? Cool. And to those people, I gotta say, that's why they're gonna be broke. If they do somehow earn $1 million, it sure as hell is not staying. Because the issue I have with gambling isn't that I doubt that these people won't make money, even at points a tons of money. It's that I doubt they'll actually keep the money, because as long as they have the gambling addiction, it's easy come, easy go. A financially literate person or someone with higher than room temperature IQ, if they were given a couple of million, instead of just throwing it back into gambling and potentially losing it all, they could just literally put it in a really boring high yield savings account, and they will earn a higher yearly salary than most Americans make off of just the interest alone. Let that sink in. So you literally would get a paycheck, a really healthy paycheck, for doing nothing by just letting your money park there. Even if you are some super secret millionaire gambler who's watching this video and you're laughing at me going, hey, look at this loser, bro, I bet he's just jealous. All I have to say is like, dude, I'm genuinely not jealous that you're richer than me. In fact, I'm rooting for you because I got some friendly advice. I want to see you keep your wealth. Quit, bro. Quit while you're ahead. You're one of the few that beat the system. Don't let them keep you in that hamster wheel. Don't let that system keep playing you until you finally do fall victim to it. Because the reality is, it's not a matter of if you lose, but when you lose. There's a reason why the saying, quit while you're ahead, even exists. There's a reason why some of the best gamblers, poker players, lottery winners, when they realize how good and how lucky they had it, they're like, all right, I'm done. We're good. We're chill. Hey, I made it. Hey, I'm gonna keep it, you know? If you are watching this video and you're up in any way, especially in a substantial way, like a few $100,000, I would not sit around and wait for a loss, genuinely. Because if you just throw $100,000 another bet thinking you'll double it, but instead the opposite happens, you completely lose all of it. You just went from having a really respectable net worth to literally back to zero. Like I said, if you've got a decent amount of money, I would just park it in a high yield savings account or throw in an index fund and just leave it there, you know? Just quit while you're ahead. And I think that's the difference between peak brokey behavior and actual wealthy mindset behavior. Because like in my brokey epidemic, one of the clips I showed at the start talked about how like being a brokey is more of a mindset. You could legitimately be broke, like have $0, but I won't call you a brokey. But if you're hopeful for the future, you've got some value you want to bring to society, you want to work hard, you want to maybe invent something cool, pursue your passion, pursue your dream, I won't call you a brokey, because like even though their net worth is literally zero, they don't have the mindset of being a broke person. What really upsets me is like some of these gamblers I would call a brokey, because even if they have more money than me, let's say like a couple million, I think it's still wasted on them if they literally can lose it tomorrow, right? Because not even the stock market is is that volatile. And that's the difference between someone who is imminently about to be broke. This person, because they're still involved in high risk situations where they can literally lose all their money the next day, doesn't matter if they're rich today because they really are poor tomorrow, and then get some money back only to lose it all, and they just keep repeating the cycle where they can't hold on to their wealth. That person will always be more of a brokey, despite the fact that their net worth on some days might be higher than someone else who is quote unquote broke. I'm not your mom, and I'm not a lawmaker. If you want to play with these apps, I generally can't stop you. And if you do it to screw around with just a few bucks here and there, I generally won't hate you. I know the difference between an addiction, like an actual addiction, versus just screwing around. But what I can do is try to educate people on the fact that anything, if done enough, especially when you're young, especially for the younger viewers, if you're a teenager and your brain isn't fully developed, you can get hooked on it. Not just drugs, can be gambling too. There legitimately are people door dashing and doing a bunch of odd jobs just to pay off their teenage gambling debt. And that's a tragic waste of their 20s. Like, in my opinion, I still think 20s are some of the best years of your adult life. But like, I still respect these people for trying to pay off their debts, you know. Shout out to them for actually understanding that they had a problem and confronting it, because like, they might get it together in their late 20s or early 30s, which, by the way, still plenty of their life ahead of them by then. Like I hate to say it, there are winners and there are losers in life, and we cannot all statistically be winners at life. And since it seems a lot of gentle parents have let down most of their Gen Z children, I'll be the bitter uncle to tell them there are losers in life, and if you're not careful, you can become one of those losers. Like I said, you may not see them as a teenager because they're all on Tutorial Island, you're all at the spawn point still, but as soon as you go through your early adulthood in your 20s, you'll know who's behind, you'll know who's ahead, you'll know who's right on par, you'll know who's meandering around, and you absolutely will know who is completely in dead last. Trust me, the losers reek. Anyways, that's it for this video. Like this video and share it to your degenerate gambling coworkers, and especially the gacha addicted gooners. They might get a whole video of themselves someday. Subscribe for more situation slop and occasional automotive content. Check out my shorts if you want more automotive content, and I'll see y'all next time. Bladed Angel out.